All right. First things first, in lieu of a normal intro, we're going to do a quick shout out to Stray's GoFundMe. I assume anyone who listens to this show has already seen this around, but on the off chance that you haven't, Ole Miss's intended starting top laner Stray has had a medical incident. Could use some additional financial support for him and his family as they go through this all. Everybody should come together and help support a member of our community like this. Collamer, anything you want to say about your player while we're plugging this?
No, I mean he's doing pretty okay, but obviously like he's got a long way to go. But he's stable. I know that they hit like the first goal that they had, but still hoping to raise more money. I know that there's even a giveaway that they're doing for like the T1 bundle that some people organize, so I'll probably help like give you the link for that or whatever. So if people want to donate for a chance to win that, but yeah, I mean it's just been cool. Everyone's been really helpful and supportive, and a lot of well wishes and shit like that. So I appreciate everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah, I assume the people who donated and the people who watch this show are like a circle. That Venn diagram is probably
like
pretty
that.
close to one another. But if anybody is not in there, go join it. Make it 1-to-1.
Hell yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the show. This is season. Oh, damn it, man! And now I've lost my whole. Sorry, Slayer interrupted me trying to intro like 4 times. Season 8, episode 2.
8. Yeah.
Collamer, back on the show. It's been longer than I thought it had been. I don't know why. I thought we had done like a show with you in the last 6 months, and that is not true.
Probably Alec would be my guess.
No, we haven't done one with him in a while either.
I think the only person in between you is Bach.
Yeah, I think
the
so.
other fellow old bald guy.
We haven't done Collamer since we've done like Dardock in between Collamer and now, and
wait, really?
It sneezes.
Yeah,
and
that can't be right.
Collamer has not been on the show in a while. I think we almost did, and then we never did it.
Yeah, I mean, last one I didn't really want to talk about anything because we were kind of getting our ass kicked. So
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Not as compelling to make the public appearance on a podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no,
it's
been a hot minute, but there's been a lot of NACL that's been played so far. We have not been on the air in a recording since the split started, and that means we have some big news to start off with from the Tier 2 to Tier 1 perspective. Denethor and now Dardock after a week, after 2 weeks of LCS, in fact, are going to be joining Dignitas. Let's talk about that a little bit. I'm so excited that, like, Denethor, awesome, by the way. Really happy to see him start. I think he was kind of, like, on the track to start, right? Like, he has been getting better every year he's played. Younger player, rookie.
He's been getting gradually closer to that line, so I'm really happy
Dardock
that he's
is, like, the bigger
it.
surprise/success story, because it feels like he has been, like, out of the running for a while. But I've been vouching because he's been so good in NACL. We all have. So that one's that one's really awesome too. I'm very excited for both of them. I'm very happy to see them get their shots. And it seems like they're making Dignitas a little bit better. At the very least, Denethor has, and I'm hyped to see Dardock this weekend.
I agree. I think in the case of Denethor, it's very fun to see. Because there have been, like, especially in their recent series against Cloud9, like, Denethor did fucking good in a lot of those games.
I think game 1 was fucking sick.
Oh, yeah, he was a menace on Gnar. And then there would be times where, like, he was the sole member of Dig that had a gold lead over his counterpart. And I think in the case of Cloud9, I've always felt like Cloud9's best, most consistent player is Thanatos. So to see him going toe-to-toe with him, I think is really promising for the player individually. And the fact that he, like we just said, had so many good games against him. And then him being the sole member of Dig to actually get gold leads over the person that he was facing off against. It's like, maybe some of the maybe some of the Winthrop Spirit stayed with him, because it feels like there have been multiple games like that for Winthrop where he's been the guy ahead of his counterpart and the rest of Winthrop have been behind. So I guess nothing really ever changes, huh?
Yeah. Or his mid laner is an intriguing player to still be on the roster. I'll leave it there.
I mean, honestly, if you want to play mid, you can, but realistically, I think XU was struggling. I mean, XU is the one who got replaced, right? So
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Dardoch, because I know that basically he's just been like permanently trying to get back in. I know that he enrolled in university this last year, which is something that he had been talking about doing for a while. But like, it's really funny because, not to go into like individual like powering and stuff like that, but I feel like Dardoch has like genuinely made every single team he's been on for the past like 3 years literally just better. I think CCG with him, like people were talking specifically like this guy might be like, now that Yuji isn't playing right now for NACL, that he's probably like the best jungler in the league. So I give him a lot of credit, and I'm just really happy for him. Because like, it's been like 5 years or something like that since he's been in LCS, and to like permanently be playing in tier 2, like play support, do collegiate for a bit at UST, and like do all the stuff he's doing just to like finally get an opportunity, like he definitely deserves it. Like that guy, I can't imagine having like the reputation that he has where people still like shit on him for like stuff he was doing at like 19 or 20.
Dude, the Reddit thread and like the Twitter threads of like welcome back Dardoch, and then you look at the comments and then everyone is just quoting Breaking
This guy's
Point.
toxic as fuck. This guy's probably
right.
bad. It's
like made me lose my mind. I was like, you people piss me off sometimes. Yeah, the normie sphere, as we'll call it, really never forgets. And I hope that he's able to like. I hope that not only is he able to move past those, but also he's able to show that he is a different person, because like us having him on the show, like we know that. I think everyone that's worked with him in tier 2 and in CNV, like Collamer mentioned, knows that. And now you've got these shows like Pros, you've got a bunch of like post-match interviews. Like I think LCS has been doing a progressively better job year after year of like humanizing their players. And so I hope that he is able to take that opportunity to like show that growth once he makes his way to tier 1, because I think there will be opportunity to do so.
I think he's probably just used to it too. Like he's used to people having like that outdated perception of him. Like, so also, not to pull aside completely sidetrack, but did you guys see the Pros interview with like Surdy and Denethor and all that? If you haven't, legitimately, I think that's my favorite piece of content. That
one of my
like
favorites.
Years.
Yeah, it was a great one.
I gotta check it out.
There was Gordo. They bring up a lot of things that like, it was just like I was listening. I was like, these T1 normies have no idea what they're talking about. Like, like
dude, it's funny because Denethor was not shy about being like, I just like worked way harder than like some of my teammates, and then Surdy was basically be like giving him advice on the show, like make sure you play for yourself, because if you're on Dig and you look bad, then your career's fucked. So like make sure that you're playing for yourself.
I know, I saw that too. It's like there was no subtext to what Surdy was saying. You could just hear it in his tone, like, yeah, man, Dignitas it's hard over there, okay?
Yeah.
You got this in the bag, just like
dude, I was just thinking to myself, it would be a banger. I was thinking like, who would Dardoch's Pros couch be? And I'm trying to find if any of his former teammates are still around, even in like coaching roles. I guess you could do DeMonte.
They wouldn't. I don't think they would do like a player coach hybridized Pros.
No reason they can't. It would be fun.
There's no reason they can't, but I think for the return of Dardoch, it might be warranted.
Thinkcard coached him on Dig. Like, I guess those.
Yeah, I was thinking Thinkcard.
That's who you would have to do, because it's like the only teammate that Dardoch had in Pro that's still active is Broken Blade,
hang on, let me cook. If like Manny or Grapes are listening to this episode, or they have like any pull on who goes onto Pros, like you could do, in honor of League Classic, you could do like Dardoch, you could do like Impact, you could do like 3 of the way older players. There you go. Yeah. That could be kind of fun.
The last thing I'll say about the Denethor Pros episode, Gordo, you'll find hilarious, is they were talking about like guys who were recently NACL that like made it to tier 1, and I think so, or maybe they're talking about Sentinels. They might have just been talking about Sentinels, and someone brought up Darkwings, And then
Oh, yeah.
it's either Zazel, one of the other. Zazel sort of goes, "Oh, Denethor, you played with Darkwings, right?" And then he goes, "Yeah, we were the only 2 people on my team trying to win." Oh, it was so great. That moment got me bad, bro.
That's not fair. Hey, that's not fair. Was it? Aaron was trying on that team, wasn't he?
Shout out to Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron was
now.
trying on
Yeah.
that team. No slander
But
for my boy Chrome.
Low-key a
It
fine
was-
assessment of that team. though,
I
can't
still
lie.
remember. I legitimately spit out my drink when I fucking heard that. I was laughing so hard.
I was laughing at the car driving home in traffic. That was so funny. But to get us back on point a little bit, I know a lot of people have been like, I think it's somewhat of a valid criticism towards Dig being like, oh, like if this was going to be the move, like why didn't we do it like before the season? Like why 2 weeks into a short summer split?
Right.
Which is valid. But I do also think, as like a positive spin, that for Dardoch, I think this is a pretty good team to come into for his his current role, in the sense that I think Dig, especially now with Denethor added, like really just need a new voice and like a new leading, like a player like leading a lot of their stuff and like constructing a lot of ideas. And I think that's exactly what Dardoch will really thrive in. I went back and, because talking to Manny and Grapes, Quax, we were talking about like what they're gonna do for what LCS is gonna do for like Dardoch's return, and I advocated a lot for. If people haven't seen, I talked to Johnny Rockets before the season. Johnny Rockets played with Dardoch at St. Cloud on a collegiate team together.
Shout out St. Cloud.
And the thing that he would not shut up about with Dardoch was like how easy and effective working information game during a game through Dardoch. Like he's just really good at like taking in everybody's feedback and pointing everybody in the right direction. And I think CCG fans will know Only 35 has posted a lot of their VODs like during their game wins, which I love that he did that. Very valuable comms. But if you just like all those the thing about those normies, they're like, oh, Dardoch is toxic. We just need to send them the link of like the CCG comms when Only 35 posts them like in those playoff series, because like that alone I think could convince like at least some of the people with like a semblance of one lobe, maybe not both lobes, that like this is not the same Dardoch. That's what really sold me for Dardoch.
We're screwed.
Yeah, we're screwed. But that's like, I think it's like a really weird scenario for Dardoch to come into week 2 of a very short LCS summer split, yada yada yada. But I do think his leadership and communication style is exactly what I think Dig need, as long as they all buy into him kind of like helming the ship. But I would assume, maybe I'm being optimistic, I'm going to assume that like most of them will buy into it. I at least believe Denethor will buy into whatever Dardoch brings to the team.
That's my like
Dig is making playoffs.
Dig is making playoffs.
I mean, they said, I mean that they said that was like their goal in summer. Like they do their like they did their like thing with like this is why. Their like information video where they were like, this is why we're doing Dardoch, this is what's going on with XU, etc. And they were very vocal that like their goal is playoffs. So
I think it's doable. Like playoffs is top 6, right?
I think
so you just have to be better than like Shopify and DSG.
Shopify, DSG,
pretty much. Pretty much.
Like,
I think honestly, I think Sentinels might be worse than DSG or than Shopify.
Yeah, Sentinels don't inspire
maybe
a lot of confidence in me as well. I also will say, to like kind of go off your point, Leo, I do not think Dardoch's leadership quality is going to be nearly as effective on Dig as it is or was on CCG. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the players on CCG, you've got Fiji. Let's even just take like the last split, for example. Like you have Fiji, you have Aojun, you've got Cody Sun, you got Only 35. The only player on that team who has had even a fraction of the experience that you have is Cody Sun, right? Yeah. The other members of your team are very new, way more impressionable, and have not had the highs of a career like yours. Meanwhile, you go over to Dig, and you see players like Ignar, you see players like FBI, even like Palafox. Like these are 3 players that have all made international titles and who have been or have made international tournaments and had gotten titles in the past. And so I think with that in mind, like the potential level of respect or just the overall willingness to listen to this person's calls might be lower because those people are more experienced and might have stronger voices on the team basically than what CCG had. And I think there might be just like more proneness to pushback from those members. And that's like the only thing I can see about that. Because I mean, if they listen to Dardoch, then like amazing, perfect. We've seen what Dardoch's leadership qualities bring to a team, and I agree in the sense that he's basically made every single one of the teams he's been on over the past 2-3 years better. But it may be a little harder to do that with Dig just because of the nature of who you're playing with and who you're going to be captaining.
I think it's a valid criticism. Yeah.
I kind of disagree though. I think everything that you said might happen. I also think it's way more likely, like, and again, I mean this with no shade to XG, because I think even in his like retirement post that he made, he like acknowledged that like his career didn't really go like the way it wanted. Like he was like, I don't know if you guys remember Chris, like the top lane gatekeeper from way back in LCS, where he was always good enough to be like good to tier 1, but he was always on like the lower end of tier 1. And, like that's kind of where I think like XG was at. I think if you're the rest of his team,
split was his rookie one, I think, and I think it's been downhill from there.
But I think like the rest of his team is probably like, I mean, because they said that they were doing tryouts for 1 week. So like, do you know, like in those kind of situations, players obviously have to buy in, right? I think it says a lot, either A, to like how highly they think of Dardoch, or B, how happy they were to just get in a new jungler, that like after 1 week they were like, yeah, we're good. So like I can totally see that happening, and like I don't think Dardoch's going to be able to like 1v9 comms and bark at everyone and tell them like what to do. But I also think that like, I mean, because if you're Dig, if you're like one of those players, like you just went 1-2 against Cloud9. I think XU had like a pretty poor performance that series, and like now you have Dardoch, who like legitimately has been really good. I would say like, obviously I haven't worked with him on any team, but it sounds like even like his comms are pretty like normal. Like again, like he's matured a lot, so it's not like crazy or anything like that. So if you're like one of those Dig players and you're like, holy shit, I can actually make playoffs like on Dig, like this is,
you're just happy
like,
for a change, basically.
Yes, like you're probably just excited because you're like, dude, like we can actually make playoffs. Like, you know, it's a new fresh phase. Now again, if you like lose your next 3 series, you're probably like, bro, fuck my life. But like, I mean, I think personally, it wouldn't surprise me if with Denethor coming in and obviously having great performances his first time in LCS, and with Dardoch coming in, I think that like team might be A, sneaky for playoffs, but also B, like I feel like the players are really going to have a lot of buy-in.
I can see it having like a snowball effect almost.
Yeah,
like if things go good, they'll continue to get better. If things go bad,
teams still don't know how to ban R against Denethor. Like it just keeps going.
Right. I can subscribe to that, actually. I think that is definitely something that can happen. I agree.
Yeah. We'll see. It'll be interesting, at least. I actually care about watching Dig games now for the first time in like 8 years.
That was the point I was going to make. Is like
relevant since it had Dardoch on it the last time in 2020.
That was the exact joke I was going to crack, guys. Like my last point was going to be here. You know, Jonathan finally figured it out. The GM of Dig is like, how do I manufacture a fan base to get Dig back going without them having to like directly win, right? Like how can I get the like a little bit of hype before? Just add like 2 tier 2 darlings that the few small NACL fans have been wanting to get a pro shot forever. And I mean, I feel like I'm living proof. It's like, hell yeah, you bet I'm rooting for Dig in like basically every matchup on the LCS at this point. It's like, I want to see Denethor ball out mostly, and of course Dardoch too now. But now we're all like low-key Dig fans.
Dude, it's crazy. For the first time in 4 years, I get to root for Denethor instead of actively rooting against him.
It's true. Exactly. This way, like that's what I just said, like compounded 5 times for you. It's like, holy shit.
This whole split too, because we're against Winthrop. Every single fucking game in chat, I'm like, go Winthrop, go Group B. Like, let's like Throps out.
Yeah.
And it's like not ironic for once. It's great.
It's wild. That must be wild.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing I would say is not to bring down what is a couple of happy promotions. It is still like I think it's indicative of how much the like tier 2 promotion attempt thing still is broken in in the current structure. That like Dignitas can just be like actively trialing NACL players in the promotion tournament split, like after the season's already started. And you know, there's literally like CCG could be any org, and there's basically nothing they can really do about it. Like the the difference between being a Riot partner and being another team competing is just so vast that they kind of just have to sit there and be like, yeah, I mean, if they decide they want our jungler, oh well. And then, of course, all 3 of the top 3 NACL teams from spring have now had players taken by LCS teams. So the question is once again begged: how is anybody ever actually supposed to like build a roster and promote and compete in the LCS when this is how you are rewarded for succeeding?
And to people's point, because I mean, I think Slayer mentioned that people were like, "Oh, well, why did you wait to make the change? Why didn't you just do it during off season?" If you're like, I mean, I don't know about Dardoch. I would presume that if Dardoch got the chance, he probably would have taken it then anyway. But like, it wouldn't surprise me that if you're Kisno, Tomio, or Dardoch, and Dignitas is like, "Hey, we want you to play for like a split, right? Like we want you to take over." Like if you're any of those 3 players, I think you all have reason to be like, yeah, like I would rather take my chance going into promote and beating DSG over going to dig for a half split and then seeing what happens, right? So, and obviously like you have other options, right? Like Griffin's still available. I'm sure that he didn't get hit up, but you know, my boy Griffin in jungle, he could definitely do it. But I think people also like, I feel like people forget like there's this understanding of like if you're going to a bad team, like people know the situation they're going into. It used to be that like players could be a bit more selfish and they could say no, and like I think it wouldn't surprise me if multiple players told Dig no. So I think that might have been what happened. Like they reached out to like NA resident junglers, of which there's probably like a few that they would consider, and it wouldn't surprise me if they literally went like, no, I don't want to play. I don't want to give up what I have going in NACL for a split of Dig.
I could see that being the case for like Kisno 100%. It seems like all of the NRG boys are super loyal to the vision.
Well, they're on the whole thing with NRG has always been that they're on like a 1 year, like they're on a. I'm sure this is more prevalent than people make it out to be, but the buzzword with NRG's roster has always been, we signed them for 2026. This 5 is committed to this project. They will not move.
So I mean, they had the buyouts, right? Like, Shopify tried getting a speaker or whatever, and they got cucked by whatever the buyout was from Energy. I don't remember what it was, but like, I mean, again, I don't know if Speaker would have actually taken it or not. I mean, like, even like maybe he would have, but it also wouldn't surprise me to see because like, nah, I'd rather like stick with Energy and like contest DSG in promotion. So
you did bring up the interesting point that that does kind of sour. Just slightly sour the Dardoch news, which is that I heard Jonathan, he did like a podcast with Dig and Kangas talking about like a lot of the stuff with Dardoch, and he was like, the fact of the matter is, like in the middle of a split with the current administration we have in the government, like it is really hard to get any sort of player that isn't just like natural born American, like not even Canadians, right? It's really hard. Right. So I'm sure part of it for Jonathan and Dig was kind of like what Collamer saying, the list was already pretty short to start. And that's also like why that's the same logic why Lion picked up Armeo. Like like they picked him up. Like I think someone said that like maybe it was Doklet said in the Least Pros episode. It was kind of like Armeo was like kind of cool on joining, and then they were like, only if you really need me to. And then they came back to him and were like, we have no other options, buddy. Can you really please come play for Lion for 3 weeks or 2 weeks? And he accepted that. So that does kind of play a factor into why they picked Dardoch. But hey, it still happened, and that's the biggest thing.
Congrats to him, nonetheless.
Yeah. So the last thing I'll say, as the flip side for this, obviously we're an NACL podcast. Dardoch is obviously off CCG now. Unfortunately, as of recording, which is August 5th, right after basically a little bit after the NRG Cupid series, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But it has not been announced who is the jungle replacement for CCG. I'm pretty sure all of us know who it is, but like,
I mean, they posted the roster for tomorrow in the Discord. I don't know if that counts.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. I'll say I don't care. It's Aeon Crystal. Good for him.
Aeon Crystal. All right.
Okay, well then I was going to do this whole song and dance. It's Aeon Crystal, everybody. The point I wanted to use with this, you're not. And if you could find, it'll be 4 months out.
They're gonna kill you, bro.
Find me my $0 salary for coaching in NACL.
From the CCG perspective, I haven't talked to Krim directly, but Krim has expressed with CCG ownership a lot that like they are here mostly, like they are, and you can take it with a grain of salt because I think every team might say this kind of stuff where it's like oh, we're here for player development number one. Maybe not every team will say that. Most teams will say that. We're player for player development number one. Like, our ultimate goal is to, like, for people to get promoted and move off the team, right? So I think for them, they're kind of just happy that, like, hey, Dardock's moving on from us. And it also, knowing CCG, they're a team that I think are a bit more prone to giving shots to obviously to tier 3 rookies, right? Because they did with Fiji. Like, they're a little bit more prone. They're very much so about player development. So I am not surprised that they're taking a swing on a tier 3 jungle rookie, even if the pool was probably small of who they could pick from. I'm sure they could have went with different people than Aeon Crystal, but I'm glad to see the CCG are kind of backing up their talk of saying we're here to, like, develop players, because now, you know, they're going to end 2026 with a rookie top laner going into spring split and a rookie jungler to finish out summer, regardless how it finishes. So I want to give a moment to applaud them for sticking to, like, what Krim has preached to me of player development first. This is a roster move to me that says we're here to give shots to people to show that they can be a tier 2 player. And for if that was the field of play, I guess, for, like, which junglers to pick, I can't think off the top of my head. I'm a little rusty on my tier 3 ball knowledge, but I can't think off the top of my head a better choice than Aeon Crystal.
No, Aeon Crystal is a good option in my opinion, because realistically, I do not think his stocks can go higher than they are already. I think a lot of people, I think that he's done good in ACL. He really impressed me at the Cyto Combine earlier in the year. I thought he was really good there. So he's basically gone to all of the events in tier 3 that have kind of mattered without, like, directly promoting in via OQs. And I just feel like he's made a good impression on all of them. So to me, like, you can't get much higher than that. Really, at this point, it would be how many times over am I going to be able to do well in those? And you run the risk of, oh, if I mess up, then my stocks potentially tank. And luckily, he's not going to wait around for that to happen. So I think that is actually, I think it's good timing for Aeon. If he wants to go super far, this is probably his best time to do it.
Yeah,
and
I
would say he's one of the better options.
Is, like, Samsara could have had a really good ACL run. I think they're well positioned coming into this split, but I don't think. I mean, I don't think there's a reason to have to wait around for that. Obviously, right? Because he's getting this kind of look. So, and I think, you know, full on promotion in NACL felt like it was a big. It would be a big jump for that roster. Although they do have a new rookie support and they have Good Boy now. So they're doing a bit of retooling anyway over there. To answer your question about other prospects, I mean, Will is still floating around. I bet Will would do it. I guess Verdict, if you want to look at Verdict. He's had a good couple of splits.
Yep, Verdict.
Verdict
would be the other name.
Yeah. I know at least one other guy they talked to.
There's Keel too. He's still hanging out.
There is
playing support mostly, but
there is Keel too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if he wanted it. Is Keel ACLing? Why do I feel like he
Yep.
is, right?
Is Keel?
Yeah, he's he's playing with Dorado.
He is ACL and he's back from Korea, I think. He and Bradley were boot camping there for most of the off season.
He's playing support there.
Who got higher?
For anyone keeping track.
Bradley got higher. I mean, Bradley was like top 100 challenger, I think, when he boot camped there. I forget. I think Keel was somewhere between like 600 LP and 1,000 LP. I forget last time I checked.
You know, this classic tangent here. For a second, because you said Korea challenger solo queue numbers. Zero, shout out. That guy balled out on the Korean server, right? I think he got 2K LP on his
he got high
yesterday.
He got high as fuck.
I will be upset if he is not getting other team looks for NACL 2027. I really think this is a guy that I really hope
you know, if Jat proved anything, if you have achievements in other regions, it automatically like triple, quadruple, quintuples your stonks. So there you go, Zero Knight. Welcome to like Shopify Rebellion next year or something. I don't fucking know.
I will say I do feel bad for Zero Knight because I feel like Energy didn't hit their goals last split, and I feel like everyone will point to the series that they lost to us of like because he didn't play after they lost to us. And I think a lot of people remember like us blinding Sejuani Aurelia and him playing like Syndra into it and then like getting gapped. But like I feel like he got a lot of flack for that series when he really didn't. Which I always felt was pretty bad. Like, if you rewatch that series, it was like Keel's second series playing support, and him and Array literally just gapped Sushi and Spica. Which, to be fair, like I remember our play in that game was literally just to focus their bot lane and draft and get like good bot lane matchups. But like game 1, Zero and I was doing like fine. Game 2, like it's a hard matchup or whatever, and he played it poorly. But like I think Array and Keel were up gold on bot lane both games in that series, and I always felt bad because it was literally like a little bit later that Zero and I basically like lost his job and he didn't play for the rest of the split. And I was like, damn, like that's kind of like, obviously realistically you're gonna want to have like a 5-man roster, but I always felt bad for Zero and I for that because I think he got a lot of blame from like Twitch chat and like people that watch that series when like if you really watch the series, like he didn't perform great, but it's not like he like 1v9 lost them the series, right? So yeah. Good for him. Yeah. I hope he does get a offer in mid. I think mid is pretty weak right now towards the bottom end, so it wouldn't surprise me that like next split he gets like at least on like a team outside looking in for playoffs. I don't know if like one of the better like NRG or whoever you consider to be like the better teams will take a chance on him again, but like at very least he deserves like bottom end NACL for sure.
Yeah. And to further go off your point, Collamer, the one game that, or the one series I was able to cast of him was I think it was the NRG Dorado series. He played Azir, and it was so unfortunate because I think they dropped that game. But the dude had like, I'll never forget, like he gets dove 4v1 at the top lane turn on Azir, and he kills off 2 of them. And he was just making like a ton of really good reads, but like, again, it was like the team lost, but it's very easy to go box score watching and be like, oh, is that 5 mini that they gave most improved player to? Oh, is this the record NRG had with 5 mini in at the mid lane? It's like, well, my deductive skills say this guy blows. I'm very much so of the idea that there was a lot of outside controls about Zero. That was the tangent I wanted to shout him out because I want to put it on the pod now that like 2027 when we get to that episode, we get to season 9, Gordo, we'll hopefully be having more conversations about Zero.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Yep, I agree. I hope we are. I think he's a really good player. And also, like, he was getting like a ton of flack for the one series that he kind of messed up that Collamer was mentioning. Anyone who puts like that, I feel like it is a bit. And obviously, this is, before I keep going, like not a way to deflect blame when it is rightfully given over to a player just because of their experience level. But like, I give a little bit of grace to people like Zero and I who are very clearly, new to the tier 2 setting when it comes to playing against tougher competition or just like generally at a higher level. Because like they're new, like I give them a little bit of grace. So I will always treat it as such. That, of course, again, does not remove them from criticism, but just.
And he was like brand new. He played in what? He played for Guangdong Flying Tigers.
Right.
Into starting NACL. Like,
this is all to say, just chill out, guys. Let him cook.
Top 5 OQ name of all time.
Guangdong Tigers.
That Shaq clip will forever live in my heart. I fucking love that clip.
Top 5 teams, honestly, like that I have ever casted.
Dude, Sunlight was a psycho, and I loved
it. The real ones will remember the GFT of ACL fall 2020. I want to say 4, where they had like Sunlight, Elias, Evan Lai,
was that
Slayer? Help me out.
Was Good Boy on that team?
They made like 3rd place or something like that, and then they lost to Ole Miss, and that's how Alaxio got his job. We've had this discussion on the pod before.
I have a sheet for this. I'll get there.
But that team was absolutely amazing. GFT will be like a top 5 team in my heart, no matter where I go or how far I get in my casting career.
This is reminding me, Gordo. I was talking to that interview with it doesn't look like it's here, with Johnny Rockets, and he was telling me about how the first time he ever played in like a big tournament once he got high on the solo queue ladder he was on CB Gaming. When he was on a diamond team. He was on a diamond team, and he just goes, "Do you know what Risen Divine is?"
Hey!
I just go, wait a minute. Did I forget that that me and Gordo, like 2023, 2022, 2023, were casting J Rockets, and we had no idea because he was on a team that did not do well in Divine. I guess that's what happened. I thought that was so funny.
That's so
But yeah,
funny.
maybe. By the way, GFT 2024 fall finished 4th. It was Sunlight, Evanlai, Elias, Ultio, and Mitchell.
Ultio, yeah, I forgot about Ultio,
Yeah.
Damn. What a nice stroll down memory lane.
They
apologies.
were my goats.
Yeah,
They're my goats.
we're way down the tangent.
I started this tangent.
I
Yeah,
want to talk
I
about
started
other
it.
teams changing jungle situations, specifically
Okay, let's
Conviction.
do it. Yeah, let's do it.
So Conviction has not had the return from a championship run that you would have hoped for. They have returned back to their regular season form and then some. As they have started off the split 0-3. Looked a lot better in their last series against Dorado, which they still lost, although perhaps losing the series to Dorado is the worst outcome. But that team is 2-1 this split. They're looking pretty good. Either way, they have swapped junglers. Tomio appears to be stepping back, and Perry is coming on in. I've been a big Perry fan for forever, so I think he definitely helps. Looks like he's shaking off a little bit of rust, but do we think Perry can save Conviction after
What's your definition of
start
save?
and with 2 more series to play?
So what I'll say first before we look ahead with Perry is for me and Beatdown, we were on the cast of his first series stepping in, the loss they took to Dorado. We were like after game 1, because obviously like we're the ones that award the MVP award of a series, like we decide that. So we're always like keeping tabs on like you do this all the time, like LPL English broadcast. We think about this ACL broadcast. After game 1, we were like, it's Perry. I thought his J4 game was very good. This like 2, 3, and 15 J4 performance. I thought he slotted in pretty easily. And I don't necessarily think that their series loss was mostly on him. I do think that like
I think Spectrum is the MVP. That
oh
game
yeah,
too,
of course.
right?
Yeah, this is also. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that part. Oh my god,
fucking nasty.
The most bullshit single game win I've seen since the Nocturne ult that pulled Climber into No, I'm thinking LPL. The Nocturne. I watched the Nocturne ult pull Climber into Fountain, and LGD like lost the game after that. Yeah, if you haven't seen the clip, it was really awkward on air because like we couldn't like state it fully. But basically, Insanity DCs right before a fight around Dragon, and he's standing still for like 5-6 seconds, like out in the open. Like it's the mid brush down to the Drake pit. He walks out of it. He DCs. He's standing in the middle, like out in the open. And 5 seconds pass, and then Low Jazz W's on top of him on Pantheon, and then the pause comes through. And because obviously we don't have the budget to chrono break, like that's not a thing with remote or anything. Like once they got Sandy back after he had to go to a hot spot, we immediately come back to live. He's 0 to 100'd, and Conviction try and like save the fight. They lose the fight. They lost that game. Why I don't think it's as big of an issue is because of course Dorado like win game 3. And they come back to win game 3. So it's like, all right, it's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, Gordo, I forgot about that. That was the
I think it's also worth calling out. I guess I don't have proof of this, but it certainly felt like I think Insanity was having internet issues that whole game too. There was another pause earlier.
There was a pause before it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he Dorado gets in that game because Insanity is like recalling in Tribrush weirdly, and they just like Decoy just finds him and he just starts running into their jungle. It's very weird. It's a very weird sequence that once you have the knowledge that later on in that same series Insanity will have 2 pauses due to internet issues, feels like it recontextualizes that play. So I think he was basically not even in that game. It's a strong in-flame rel game as well, but it does feel like a big part of the defining factor of that game too is that Insanity was not able to stay connected to the game.
And then for game 3,
yeah.
So I think Perry plays really well in game 1. I think he's a majority reason why they win. Game 2, we're kind of writing off a lot of bullshit. Game 3, I kind of felt like he did his job fine. Like I thought this draft was putrid from Conviction. They basically like pick Syndra. This is the game where they get Mundoed by Decoy right after picking Syndra bot lane. And they pick Syndra bot lane. I think it was Cassio for Insanity. So they're picking double mage into a Mundo and then a Senna. They've sent a TK on the bottom lane, and like if they didn't win that game quick enough, like they were just gonna get outscaled. It's exactly what happened. So I think Perry on this Poppy is like he did a fine job. I think it's fine. He tries to like get this like quick catch onto Tub or no, I'm. Not Tub, right? Tub is the
Inflame
contingent support.
Inflame.
No, you tried to catch. Why am I blanking on the Dorado AD carry? Hub, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, he tries to catch Hub, and he dies really awkwardly at the last fight. But so I guess the long-winded answer. My impression from Perry's first series was that he played pretty good for stepping in this scenario. He doesn't look like he's lost much of a step at all to me. So
I agree.
We'll see how it goes going forward.
I don't want to.
Or how do you guys feel about it
on that game 3 either? Like, yes, some of it is that it's like an outscaling thing, but they also they
played it well.
That's the game. Well, I mean, that's the game where it's like they trade Soul for a 2-man Baron sneak that like they use to generate a 4 or 5K gold swing out of nowhere that keeps them in the game for 15 more minutes to be able to scale and win. Like, I think that was an I don't know if it's the right call, but it was some bold calls that certainly got them to that stage.
But how do we think other two here? How do you guys feel about? I guess we can start with Collamer because you're the guest here. How do you feel about Perry? Like, what do you think the impact he'll have on Conviction?
I think Perry's good. I think sometimes like it doesn't even come down to skill because like Tomio's a skilled player, but like sometimes you just need like a vibe shift. And from what I could tell, Conviction was just like in a really, really bad spot because most of their games like weren't necessarily like super close like beforehand. Like I think Winthrop scaled up a lot from when we beat them in week 1 versus like when they beat Conviction week 2. But like I think when the vibes are bad, and like obviously those players have really high expectations for themselves, like you just won the split, and like yeah, you made changes, but like you know, that top side literally just won the split. So I think it's like fine. I think realistically, I don't know, because they play Contingent, who I think is pretty solid, and then they play CCG minus Dardoch. So I could see them going like 1-4. And then MU is CCG minus Dardoch Contingent, so the same matchups, and then Winthrop. So, I mean, they might end up still being like bottom 2, but if I have to pick Conviction versus like Blue Water and LCQ, like I think Blue Water is going back down to promotion relegation tournament again because I think CNV like he just raises the floor like way higher than like Blue Water and probably even like Maryville right now have. I think like maybe Maryville's a stretch, but like at least Blue Water. And I'm not gonna lie, like, and again, there's always a world where like we just choke and like those guys do great and like we're in fucking relegations. Like it's not 100% yet. But I think it is like if just Perry's floor as a jungler, I think is higher than Niles, who I think Niles is actually doing pretty solid. I mean, like he's challenger and Sully and everything like that. It's just hard. You're missing the best player in the league with UG. Like it sucks. And then I think with Munchie, like I think Perry just kind of like is significantly higher floor, and so I would find it hard that Conviction doesn't make playoffs in some way at this point.
Worth calling out, they have a very easy back half schedule too. They still have to, they get to play Dardoch with CCG, and they get to play Contingent.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Minor pause. Contingent's actually like decent. Like actually, like
I don't think
Contingent
bad,
is very much.
Yeah.
I mean, they're second. I mean, we also lost to them, right? So, like, I'm biased, but I do actually think that, like, that Contingent matchup is not easy for them. Like, I actually think that they're going to lose that matchup, like, even with Perry. I think Contingent is a team where it just like, not that draft matters a ton, but I actually think against that team specifically, if you get draft gap, it's over, and then if you don't, like, you'll probably win. But
I actually might be inclined to agree with you that I would favor Contingent over Conviction.
Contingent just has like a style that they really, really, really like. Like you just you let City 1v9, you put Asila on whatever E kit in mid lane, Shout out Asila. That's my boy still. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love that guy. He's like my younger brother. But you put him on whatever Galio, whatever supportive like mid or you whatever it is, and then you just let City carry, and then your side lanes are stable enough to function. And Daption is probably one of the best players in the current meta for like playing the major spot lane, which I know that you guys want to talk about. Like that team has like a very clear path, in my opinion, of just like finishing. Like I don't think anyone's beating Cupid. Like I don't think anyone in that group is passing Cupid per se, but like Contingent could very easily get second. That like wouldn't surprise me at all.
I mean, Daption had like a really good, like recent couple of series. So
yeah, Daption's been sniping.
Daption's been doing really well. I feel like on top of City, like I would say him and Daption have been like the two. Him and Kaido and Daption have probably been the two like standouts for me specifically, and it just kind of feels like not only is it because Kaido is being unlocked by like I think Asila has been doing a great job at being able to facilitate his play. But then Daption is just very comfortable basically doing whatever you need him to. I feel like he really is a man at arms. You can basically just give him whatever and he'll be equally as effective or lethal on it. So he's been really flexible. Like I feel like there are some AD carries who have not been very flexible in the ability to play mages this split, and it actively drags their team down. And that has been like one of the biggest like underrated differences in my opinion for this split is like when your AD carry is not willing to acclimate to at least a couple of mages if you need to shift your draft at all.
Yeah.
Point being, I think CNV is probably still going to get fourth. I mean, maybe they get third because Maryville can't figure it out. I don't know if they have time with like with Obstinatus back with bot lane. I think that him and Jerry will do better, but like I think at worst Conviction gets fourth, and then I think at worst if they get fourth, I don't see them losing to Blue Water. Although it is a best of 3 and literally everyone could beat everyone, so who knows?
While we're just jumping around from team to team. Oh, I guess go ahead. Finish your point.
My bad, bro.
Well, I was just gonna say, Collamer, since you're an NACL coach here, I'd like to give you the opportunity to flame how stupid it is that the last chance qualifier is a best of 3 out of 5. I assume you agree, or
I'm gonna give like the really, really like not the hot take, but like the really, really scorching hot take. I think the format sucks. I think everyone agrees. That being said, I think that if you're like a team that like, if you're doing anything more than like, oh yeah, the format sucks, it is what it is, like we move on, like I think it just is a complete waste of time. Like, I mean, I've been coaching for almost a decade now, fucking old as hell. And like the formats, like there's always been something to complain about for the formats. Like there's always been, whether it was like it used to be where if you won the last series, then you automatically were the 1 seed, and like that would screw teams over that like continue to have the same roster, like seeding stuff back in like old tournaments. Like the format's always sucked. This format does suck, I agree, but like, I mean, personally, before the split started, everyone thought that like Group A was going to be like you need 4 wins to even make playoffs and like all this other stuff, and like I mean, I didn't complain. I don't think anyone in our group was like really complaining about it. And now it's all
shit show.
And now it's the flip side, and like everyone's just like, "Oh, this format sucks." Like Group A is a bunch of chokers. Like half the conference can't get a fucking win, and it's like, yeah, but like in my mind, if you're like at the end of the day, every team can beat every team, and if you're in a position where you're in a best of 3 against like at best a middle of the pack team, you should be able to win a best of 3 if like you think you're good enough to actually like complain about the format. And then if not, like there's just nothing to complain about. Like if we go like 2-3 and like we're in LCQ and we lose a best of 3, like I'm not gonna sit here and bitch about the format. I'm gonna be like, damn, we suck. You know?
Yeah. That's
so
that's like, have you considered punditry? Because then you can get like 3 episodes.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, you get like 3 episodes and 10 tweets out of complaining about the format. You know, you don't have to.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
It's like aside. That's.
Yeah, like I would have obviously preferred them to do a best of 5 because I think that the fact that it's like on one side you make playoffs and on the other side you legitimately have to wait 6 months to play a relegation tournament, which your roster is probably not going to be the same shit anyway. Like that part's stupid, but like I don't know if I'm like actually rage baiting people or not when I say it, but I'm like, yeah, the format sucks, and like yeah, obviously like we're benefiting, we're 2-1 and we're second seed when I think you guys had combined had a 7-8-9, but like
we're
at the end of the day, like you just win the games.
We're not trying to put a curse on you here, but we were saying when we were complaining about this format last episode, we were saying if anybody's got to wait 6 months and then play a promo relegation match, the CLOL teams are probably the least fucked by that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, if it's like, yeah, I mean, if it's honestly, even if it's
If
Blue
it's
Otter,
like-
if it's Blue Otter or it's
Dorado,
Dorado or
Contingent.
something,
Yeah.
Counterpoint.
is-
Can you imagine being the team doing promotion relegation and like like I don't think this is gonna happen, but hypothetically, you have to play against Maryville with UG, and like that's your promotion series. Like,
oh, that's gonna be really cooked too. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
That's good. Yeah.
but yeah,
It
like
could
the format.
be
sucks,
it could be with UG
but-
and Phi Mini, and like they could run.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could.
True. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it
They
sucks
bring
that the
back
format
K,
the way that it is,
whatever
and
top
I
laner
think
they
that
want.
like, yeah, I think it sucks for like the teams that are towards the bottom because like, I mean, like imagine like honestly, imagine being CCG, like now you're 1-2 and you just had to replace your jungler. Like, I don't know. I just think like the format always sucks. Like, there's always something to be unhappy about. Like, again, at the beginning of the split, everyone was just like, oh my god, Group A is probably going to be super pissed off. Like, Blue Water and the University of Mississippi are going to have to win 3 series and still not make playoffs, and that's going to suck for them. But like, I don't know, just is what it is. Just Myra once said like 7 years ago, hashtag just win. It's like, yeah, just win the games, bro.
Yeah.
True. That's some good perspective. All right, so we're jumping. Are we just jumping around teams at this point? I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it seems like we are just.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So I
I'm
guess
a bit chaotic.
no. That's the fun of this, anyways. So I guess we could go Maryville for a second. I don't know about you gentlemen, but I've not heard anything on the
Nope.
UG return
Nada.
front.
No.
They play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow, and UG's not on the roster.
Right.
Yeah, so it looks like more Niles. Yeah, I mean, Collamer kind of feels like they're gonna play Blue Otter in the last chance qualifier, based off of what he just kind of said.
Yeah.
How are you guys? Are you guys like? What's the DEF CON rating or the panic meter? I guess with you guys on.
I
any
mean,
situation?
okay,
'Cause-
my DEF CON is even if this team hits rock bottom, they are Maryville University, so I'm not worried about them at all. If they have one bad split, like who gives a flying fuck? It's Maryville University, man. Like I can never fully be down on these guys like long term, even if in like the short term they look like shit. My opinion on the short term is they do kind of look like shit.
It's not a good sign that they got Obstinatus back and
And
it is
their bot lane. No, let me finish the thought. It's not a good sign that they got Obstinatus back and then their bot lane got clapped real hard 2 games in a row. That's
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
yeah,
that was
biggest worry
supposed
for
to be
me
their best
about
part.
NU.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like if we take out the obvious jungle conversation, that's the most worrying thing to me was like,
yeah.
hey, like for some people, like for my voting, I guess
That was the
like,
biggest problem
all
in
right.
the Cupid series for sure.
Yeah, was like, all right, spring split. I thought Obstinatus was the best support in the league. I voted him first pro overall. Jerry was second pro for me. It's like, all right, when they get back together, that we agree like they're maybe the best laning bottom lane. This will be the win con that they can lean on. They'll be fine. And now it's like arguably their weakest point. You like,
No.
especially in the Cupid. Oh well,
Jungle.
maybe in the
Jungle's
Cupid
a black
Cupid
hole.
series.
The top lane's a black hole. Jungle's a blacker hole. It's not good,
and then-
dude.
And then Aljun's just adjusting to being on Maryville.
Yeah, I mean, Aljun was like the most interesting conversation for me because on one hand, their series against Dorado, where they lost and they went to 3 games, I think Aljun had like a had like a 1-13 stat line or something like that across 3 games. And then like in their most recent series, not the one against Contingent, but the other one, like against Cupid, yeah. He was probably the only player that I looked at and thought there were signs of life. So I just feel like it is really a consistency issue from Maryville right now, where like sometimes some of their players will do good, other times some of their players will do bad, but it doesn't ever feel like every player is on the same page in like a positive direction, which is like to be expected because you probably have less cohesion than the other teams because you're, dealing with the sub issues. That doesn't really apply to like since Obstinatus has come back, but Crimson is obviously returning this split. Too, so like there could be some growing pains with maybe coming back in that regard, and then Niles as well. I just really don't feel like this team ever is on the same page. It does feel like stuff really breaks down in the mid game, and I don't feel like they ever have opportunities after that point to like rally together necessarily.
Yeah, I think the part that people keep on forgetting about is like, yeah, it sucks not having Yuji, and like that's a big difference. Like, I personally don't think that Niles is like the reason that they're losing the games. Like, I feel like people are just like, oh, they have a substitute jungler. Like, it's obviously all Niles' fault because he's that top lane guy from LCS forever ago, and like now he's jungling. Like, this guy sucks. But I think the part that people forget is like Spyrax legitimately was like one of the best players in the league, and he's gone. Like, he's not in mid. And I'm not saying that to like, shit on Aljun or anything like that, because I think Aljun's like a solid player, but like the team that like was really, really solid was like K, which to be fair, I actually think Crimson was performing better than K last split, but like it was K, it was UG, most people would say the best player in the league. Spyrax, most people would say top 2, maybe top 1 mids in the league, and then Jerry and Obstinatus. So your whole jungle mid, who I think that's like where the team really thrived, is like their jungle mid being able to get advantages and play around things is like completely gone. And I think when Yuji comes back, like obviously they'll be good. Like I don't know when that'll be, but like obviously they'll upgrade. But I do think that there is like a conversation of like how much better is it going to get? Because I think that they'll obviously go from like not being able to win the series to like obviously being very competitive. Like I won't be thrilled to play against them in like playoffs potentially or something like that once Yuji's back. But I mean their ceiling is considerably lower without Spyrax. Like, and it's weird because I feel like Spyrax used to get all the hype in the world, and then people kind of just like tone down on the guy. But like that guy's been giving me nightmares since like 2022. Like he's like a very talented mid laner, and I think it's going to take them some time once it's Yuji and Aljun to like get back into form. But I do think that like eventually, maybe if it has to wait till like next split, they'll get back into form. Because I don't know when Yuji's coming back, but
I agree. Go ahead, Quax.
I also just kind of feel like for me, like when Spyrax was playing support, it also just felt like the team couldn't really, because maybe I am wrong and maybe you guys disagree, but right now in the current landscape of the meta, I think support is the most important position in the game right now. I just feel like the best teams of the world move around their Camille being everywhere all at once and fucking shit up from level 2 onward. Like I was literally playing a solo queue game, 2 solo queue games in a row. In fact, Camille on my team dies level 2, roams mid, gets a kill, roams with me to jungle, and we get a kill at Crab. So just completely erase that mistake. And then I get invaded on my Grump level 2 by Camille, who's level 1, and she takes me to quarter HP, and completely fucks up my first clear. So like, I feel support has so much power right now, and I felt like Spyrax just wasn't in the same camp as everybody else. And I also just think that Scary Jerry isn't a player who does amazing when not given the opportunity to really thrive in lane. This is an old I think style that, and we've praised it since forever, but like Scary Jerry is very lethal in the laning phase. And I feel like this is a meta where laning phase in bot lane, unless you're like Lucian Melio or something like that, does not really matter. Like most of the other bot lane picks are either mages that scale or really long range safe AD carries like Ezreal or Ashe. So I just feel like this style does not suit Maryville's traditional plan where we give Scary Jerry something to do in the laning phase. Like very similar to what Collamer was saying, where like mid jungle has been something they can always default to and has been like their strongest point of power. I feel like the meta is not in their bot lane's favor either. So I just feel like everything is going the opposite way, at least game-wise, that it should be for MU at the current moment.
I think jungle matters a bit more than support, because I feel like a lot of the support impact is based on like the jungle's like ability to plan and like play around camps and do all that other stuff. Like it matters a lot though. The only reason I say that is like I think Obstinatus, like I haven't really closely looked at their games, to be honest. Like I think that they've always played at times where I'm like at work or whatever. But like Obstinatus is like good, and like his play style of like wanting to impact is very similar to like how like I consider them pretty similar to like with top support came down. I think like they love getting active, right? But it's just one of those things where it's like I feel like the game is completely distorted around like what jungle wants to do and like being able to play for camps and stuff like that. And so your support can have impact, but and like again, I'm not trying to put this on Niles, but like hypothetically, I think if Yuji was here, like it wouldn't even be a similar conversation. Like I think that Jerry would be able to kind of like play his game, even like regardless, right? Because I think I said it earlier, but I don't even think a lot of the NACL teams are like really leaning into the mages. And I think a lot of like you're seeing a lot of like teams globally, even just like pick Kaisen to Ziggs or like pick Lucian Milio or like pick all these like standard ADs where it doesn't really matter. And like it wouldn't surprise me if in NACL, because even today it was just like all standard ADs. Like I think a lot of teams in because of the talent of the AD carries that are in the league, I think a lot of teams are just going to be like, yeah, bro, just pick me.
That's what they're doing in LCK too. They're all of their bot laners just saying like, fuck the mages. I don't care if it's good to do it.
This
we
is
want to
what
play marksman.
LCK did back in like, was it 2018, which is that it's been mythologized now, but that one patch where you could play Swain bot 10% of the time, and so 80 carries were completely unviable. That back in that patch, I always bring this up. I'm sorry. This is more of a dunk on Reckless than it is a dunk on 80 carry players in general, Slayer. But that's always been my go-to.
Isn't that the year he self-benched?
Dude, the same split where Reckless self-benched because marksmen were unplayable. Ruler was just winning every game playing a traditional marksman in the LCK, the hardest league in the world. Like, those two things happened simultaneously.
Well, we remember what happened to the LCK in 2018. That's like their worst year on historical record. They sucked ass.
I think the other thing too is people assume that you can just pick Mage's bot lane and it's just like in isolation great. But I think that you see a lot of drafts too where like Olaf and like Mundo and a lot of these champions where like if you just pick a Mage bot lane and you pick like a Mage mid lane, especially if you like pick like specific mid laners, like I won't give too much information, but like you can just put yourself in a draft where like you just lose the game. Like when we play Contingent, like game 2, legitimately I thought like my players played well enough to like win the game, but like the draft just made it like impossible. Right. And I think that teams are also realizing that like, especially if you're blue side and like you want to pick a flex, like you want to pick whatever, like Victor or whatever, like red team doesn't necessarily have to answer because they can also flex. And then eventually if you just like draft in a way that doesn't make a lot of sense and you don't have good damage spread and you don't have good DPS, like that you are now inherently lacking because you lack a marksman. Oh, like I R5 Mundo or I R5 Olaf or I R5 like even like Darius like on your head, and then you just want to cry, and then you're like, holy fuck, I have like my Mel bot lane, but enemy top lane is like 2-0 with 200 CS at 20 minutes, and I can't play the game. So I think it'll be really interesting. I mean, like we are pretty flexible because luckily I have Array, and Array will literally play everything all the time, and including things that I refuse to let him play. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I think a lot of the teams that have good AD carries that are in the bottom of the standings, that AD carries are gonna be like, bro, just give me the fucking hyper carry and put it in the bag.
I'm kind of surprised that teams aren't. I feel like teams are certainly over. Some teams are like putting, I think, way too much importance on mages at times. I am a believer that one of the best pairings you can do with like any mage that's viable in the bot lane is like just like give them Jarvan and boom, they're super good. Because if they have like an Olaf counter pick, which I think is probably the best solution to a mage bot laner because you just run at them, boom, Cataclysm, good luck. They have to flash out and then they might just die. So I think that there are just certain angles where like mages aren't good. So I would rather have them be too stubborn to not pick a mage than being like, let's just play mages all day, every day without actually knowing like the pairings that make them good or not. And just real quickly back to the Maryville point about Scary Jerry. The one game that he has won was on Ziggs. So there's that. My man can ball out on mages. What do you know?
Yeah, I think also part of the reason like some like the LCK might be going away from the mages is also Have to remember that patch 16, I think. Wherever we're at, wherever the next patch is the big like AD carry shifting patch. Like the
they're
winding words,
increasing
yada
MR.
yada. Yeah,
Right.
they're buffing like Runin's Hurricane. They're gonna try and work the auto attack.
They're nerfing Camille support finally. Like yeah.
But yeah. So it's like I also think that it's part of that, knowing that some like that's more so for like the leagues that are running like a longer time, like LCK, LPL will switch over to that patch before their playoffs come around versus NACL will be pretty up close to when like last chance qualifiers start. For those changes, we'll have to see there. But I do think it's a really good point that I didn't think about, Quax, that you made, whereas like the laning of bot lane doesn't matter because it's a lot harder to accrue leads in the most traditional fashion, which is constantly fighting. It's basically down to farming, but most of the time it's like at the NACL level with how we feel about the AD carry pool. Most AD carries, they're just left to their own devices. Maybe one of them slightly wins some trades. Maybe one of them goes a wave up. But it's not like this guy's 800 gold up out of lane.
It's not the end of the world. I mean,
yeah.
Because you can be down 800 gold as Ziggs bot lane, and then Mega Inferno Bomb will just burn everybody away. There you go.
Yeah, but what I wanted to go off of that, and I think it's a good time to talk to Collamer about his team.
Yes.
Off of what Quax was saying about Maryville in this meta, not necessarily it benefiting them as much. I'm curious how you feel, Collamer, because I do think the two roles that were argued are like the most impactful in this patch are jungle. You said jungle, Quack said support. I feel like my consensus is that like jungle support movement every game is like, or at least for early game, is like the most important thing. I feel like as an outsider that this meta is benefiting Ole Miss a lot. I think Bounty and Griffin playing together is really helpful for you guys, and him being able to lock him to get on the map with him. Do you feel like the meta has benefited your team somewhat, or like what's your feeling on that?
I think it kind of has. I think for our team specifically, I think last year we just had a lot of issues where Griffin would try to be the only one making calls, and it was really difficult for us to kind of like play around that. Not because his calls were bad. Sorry, my cat is screaming.
It's okay.
So I think that with the roster we have now, like Ariana is like very vocal for our top laner. And he kind of gets to like make game plans but not have to be the primary carry, like I think how he had to at Blue, which has like been very good for him. I think honestly Ariana's been like one of our most consistent players, which is great for him. I do think that jungle, mid, and support matter a lot because inherently every fight that you have jungle support is just going to be somewhere around like a camp, and like your jungle, mid, support all need to be really lockstep. I think that's been one thing that we really, really hit on a lot for the split. Like in practice, legitimately, like we're just reviewing like jungle, mid, support, like making sure that they're getting on the same page for like 80% of it, and then like 10% of it is laning, and then 10% of it is like what we're all doing as a team. And I think that's why a lot of our early games have been like really good. Like when our Winthrop series, and I think even against Contingent, our early games were like pretty okay. Is because that's like what we want to hammer a lot. And so I think it does help. I mean, Bounty loves playing like literally everything, and he loves to make an impact on the map for sure. But I think that just like how roaming supports have been like really helpful, I think that you most certainly can play like other stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind picking like Shen or Camille or anything like that, but I also really like, it's a luxury to be able to pick like, I don't know, like Ez Karma or like Kate Karma or something like that for bot lane, and then just be able to like play lane phase and like know that my bot lane's good enough to carry. I think it just gives you options, right? And I feel like some teams have a lot of flexibility. Like NRG has a lot of flexibility in how they want to play. You can R5 counter pick for Zamudo and like use one of his pocket picks. You can play through Sushi and put him on like a team fighter where he's probably going to do really well if he gets a 5v5 team fights. And I think it just gives options, and that's really what's helpful. I don't think it necessarily stops, because I think like maybe Contingent is a bit more linear in how like they would want to draft and play, but like they still do it well. Like they're one of 3 teams that hasn't lost a series yet. So I think it helps us for sure. I think also this split we're just better. I think we're practicing way more. We're taking it a lot more serious. Like I think the new faces have helped a lot too. Just like new, fresh, like fresh perspective and all that. So,
Right.
I don't know. I think it's helpful for sure. I mean, it's interesting if nothing else, right?
Yeah.
Not that Mel bot lane or Ziggs bot lane is super interesting, but it's different, kind of.
Yeah.
I think
No,
you
that-
have
yeah.
an aversion to Mel. This is like the third time on the
think
show
there's,
where
like,
you've
Dude,
been like,
I fucking hate Mel. Yes. Dude, Mel for me is just one of those champs. Like, I mean, I feel like everyone has their champs where they just hate it. Like, it doesn't matter how good they are or not. I just hate Mel's entire like design about everything. I hate her reflect. I hate that she does way too much damage. I hate that her ult doesn't execute on like a poke champ. Like, I hate like all this shit. Like,
Yeah.
Incredible
I would be
bid.
significantly happier if Mel didn't exist mid or support or bot or whatever.
Dude, incredible bid. I think it was Mid Beast. Mid Beast tweeted today. They should add Mel to League Classic.
The League Classic.
and everyone was after his ass. Yeah.
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 Incredible.
I mean, like,
I respect that.
I've sent
It's-
Gebetto to personally. I put a hit and I heard Gebetto was on the scene. So good luck, Jack.
On the mid piece. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny too because I don't even think Mel is like very good in terms of all the other mages. I think like you can pick her bot lane and Ashe Seraphine, and like that's a good angle, but like other champs are higher prio for a good reason, right? But Mel is just personally for me, I don't even think my team cares. Like, I'm pretty sure my team would love to play against Mel like every game if they could because they don't even care about it. But me personally, fuck that champ.
Yeah.
All right. I guess kind of winding things down. Are there any other teams you guys want to talk about? I think.
Not
the only
really.
thing
I
would-
mean, go ahead.
The only thing I was gonna say is that Energy and Cupid played today after recording, and that's like you could argue that
Energy kicked their butt pretty hard.
Yeah. The only thing I want to talk about with Energy is that was a really good series from Sushi. I think he earns the MVP. I think he
Yes.
plays
That
really
locks
well.
the playoffs
Spica
too, by the way.
that locks in playoffs. Yeah. Spica also played really well. I know Raz tweeted out a crazy Camille play that Spica made where I think he hook shots into a fight, but then he flashes over two people to get a knock up onto the guy behind them. But because he's knocking up the guy behind them, it displaces three of them. So like effectively knocks three people back and starts a fight really well. So it's cool to see, especially in the conversation of, like you mentioned, Collamer, like Energy, our multi-threat team. I did feel like so far through Energy's split, it was a lot more topside stuff. Like I think they're leaning a lot more on Zamudo. But it was cool to see today up against Cupid, who their biggest strength this entire split so far has clearly been bottom lane. I think Mobility and Breezy have been playing crazy. So for Sushi and Spica to beat Mobility, Breezy in this form is really good sign for me that NRG is like maybe consistency's here and they're up to that level that everyone thought they could hit, or they're starting to form into that level at the right time for that promotion tournament push.
I agree with that. I have not gotten to see the series today yet. I'm
It's a good watch.
So I just finished catching up on an ACL, and then I have LPL tonight. So I have not seen today's series yet.
It was like pretty one-sided. I mean, Cupid looked fine. I mean, they were just outclassed a little
Cupid
bit.
have looked good. Like I am very pleased with how Cupid are doing. Because obviously, like we here on the podcast, we have a bunch of people who really like the podcast, and a bunch of the staff and people behind the scenes and on the team as well are like friends of ours. So warms my heart when they do well. I will say, just briefly talking about Cupid, dude, Hoarder is the man. Like I have been extremely impressed with Hoarder this split. I really like we've been talking about how like Sushi, if this split goes well, I know some people afterwards were hyping him up being like, see you on the LCS when you're like shitting on Gumayushi. I know Doc Respawn said something like that. Bro, Hoarder, listen, man. If this split goes well, just like remember us, please. All right, we
Did he
love
do
you,
well
man,
against Zamudo today? I assume that is what this means.
He's just been doing good over the course of the split, in my opinion. He did
having
fine
not
against
seen that
Zamudo.
series, I think I exited week 2 thinking Zamudo was the best individual player in the league.
I think Zamudo is the best
think it's still the
individual
same.
player,
Okay.
and I agree. But then again, Zamudo should already be in the LCS. So
Unfortunately,
I think
he's going to be in the LEC.
I think
or the
any
CBLOL or something,
praise that I
bro.
were to give Zamudo about like can't wait to see you in the LCS is like, okay, well he should already fucking be in the LCS.
So Hoarder
there's
went
that.
3-4-5 on Mbessa against Zamudo 2-3-10, and then Zamudo went 4-1-10 on Gnar versus Hoarder Jax, who went 3-3-1. That being said, like if there was a bright side for Cupid, I think during the series, like game 1, top was okay and bot was okay, and then game 2, like Cupid's like only shining star I could think was kind of harder.
Cool.
Using an O2, ABO, 05, bot lane 1 and 10. So
Yeah. Cool to see.
Well, somebody marry Zamudo so he can get out of this league, and then we can talk about
Oh
Hoarder as
fuck!
the
I'll,
best
I'll
top
do
laner.
it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
yeah,
Alright.
Cupid's our next match. It'll be pretty interesting because, yeah, I think it'll be good. We're confident about it, but it'll be interesting to see for sure.
I'm very shocker.
Also, Hoarder-
shocker Slayer comment here, but I'm very excited
Hoarder's
for...
been getting like fans from the co-streamers. I know that like Fawn has been like
Fawn specifically, dude. Fawn
Fawn,
loves
this
him.
guy's biceps are
loves
like
Hoarder.
bigger than fucking planet Neptune or something like that, which is very funny to see. Yeah, Hoarder's awesome. I love that guy.
Most Slayer comment ever for the Ole Miss Cupid series coming up, but I am very excited for Array Bounty versus Mobility Breezy. That should be
That sounds like fun.
TV to me.
Yeah, that'll be great. I been playing against Mobility for what, like 4 years now at this point. Jesus, every single time.
Yeah, every
Can't
single
dodge
time.
him. Even when you dodge Winthrop now, you can't dodge him.
I know, dude. Oh, I was gonna mention earlier. So the whole like Spyrax thing. So this is way before I think any of you guys were in league. Do you guys know the first time Spyrax ever played in like NA?
Yeah,
No.
he played. I remember seeing him in OQs before he went to. Or he was playing with No, where did he play before Maryville? I don't know before Maryville. I don't think.
So I will double check, but I might be wrong on this. But I think it was Maryville.
Yeah, I remember him on Maryville before FlyQuest Academy.
So yes, so Spyrax. So long time ago. So he played for Supernova Dark Matter back in 2020.
Oof.
Yeah.
In 2020, Bradley was my mid laner at Bethany. This is before I've been at Ole Miss for a half decade. My first year coaching the program, we get Bradley recruited. We have like a solid roster. It's like literally Bradley back like peak wildcard red Bradley like time, and like a bunch of other challenger players that people like didn't really know that well. We had like Hunter, who was like a new player who is still really good, and a bunch of like other players in like a D4 top laner. Shout out Solera wherever he's at. So we're in CNV top 8 and we're just murdering everyone. Like we scrim Winthrop and we murder them and like they end up being the champions that year. And it's round of
Is this like Frost Forest era?
Yes.
Winthrop?
So it's
Yeah,
round
okay.
of 8. Yeah. I forget who we play, but we like murder and I'm like, bro, we're winning this shit this year. Holy hell! Like I'm gonna win CELO. It's like my 4th year coaching CELO. I'm like, dude, this is back when I had like a really massive ego, like really really massive to the point like where people didn't like me because of my massive ego. And we find out that Maryville had Wolfie at the time, and the round before they played us, they subbed him out for this random dude named Spyrax, who like had only been on Supernova's B team. And so his second series he ever plays in like CELO, it's Bradley versus Spyrax back together in like 2020, and
wow,
he just 1v9s the whole series. Like only player at the time that I had seen like ever actually handle Bradley in scrims like at all. Like they won the series 3-1 and then they lost in finals. But I just remember like they put in him on like Renekton mid back when like Gwen just come out and Bradley was legitimately dropping 25 kills every single game. And I'm like, bro, this Spyrax guy is gonna haunt me for the rest of my life because he just 1v9 the series. And then 4 years later or 5 years later, legitimately. So that's my old folk story from back in fucking 2020, 2021.
The lore drop, I love it.
Yeah. The thing that Bradley and I still talk about from that series is with our season on the line, they pick Lucian mid and we R5 Annie for Bradley and it just does not go well. It just like and so every single time now when we're like Annie, I'm like, dude, I don't want to pick you, Annie. He's just like, no, it was good then. I swear it was good then. Which it was, but like it just PTSD.
Okay, so I'm gonna remember that if I ever see.
You see Bradley,
yeah.
Our team has this whole thing about Annie theorem, which means that if we pick Annie, Bradley's going like 1-6 or 1-5 or whatever, but we're winning the game like 100%. But like,
win game.
He is 100% inting his fucking ass off, for sure.
That's fun. That's a fun little anecdote. Yeah, I think the show's starting to wind down a bit. So the last thing I forgot to bring this up before we went on air, but I think this is worth mentioning for the fact that we're below tier 1. This podcast we talk about tier 3 as well. It also pairs into ACL fall as a conversation for later. But the tournament the tournament restrictions being lifted by Riot.
Thank God, bro.
I do want to I think it's worth mentioning now that it's very recent news that W Riot. This should have happened a while ago. We feel like this shouldn't have existed for a bit, but it's here now. A lot of those restrictions on prize pool, all this other stuff is all dropped through. So places like ACL for fall split when NACL isn't going on might get pretty crazy. And the hope is that a bunch of other grassroots tournaments pop up all over the place. Maybe we'll see more lands formulate more like local tournaments. I know the only other thing I can think of off the top of my head is Shynock was talking about trying to set up some. It was a hypothetical idea, but like a Burrows LAN, like the Burrows fight each other, which I thought was cool. But that's I just want to say that if anyone has any thoughts, I know Collamer, you tweeted out about it. You were like, thank God.
Yeah. So I won't like take too long in this, but like, so this should have been done like 7 or 8 years ago. Literally, I think literally if they would have done this 7 or 8 years ago, you would see way more stuff happening. But like better late than never, I guess. So for context, it used to be like a lot of people always ask like, oh well, why don't like college leagues like play more? Because you have CNV, right? And you'd have like 1 or 2 lands, and it would only be like 8 teams, and it would like be this whole thing, and the prize pool would always be like pretty shit. And the context was that Riot always like had these really, really aggressive restrictions. It also is why the high school scene like basically died, because they gave a monopoly to play versus, which fuck those guys.
Terrible.
Yeah. So long story short, like all these like, because people, it's one of those things that you don't realize until like you ever are involved in it or you ask about it. It's like, hey, why is your prize pool so shit? Like, oh, it's because legitimately we can't offer more than like 15 pesos for the prize because Riot. Oh, well, why is there only 8 teams, not 16? It would be way better to have more teams at a LAN. Oh, it's because Riot. And it was all these like restrictions that I understand they didn't want to like taint the IP and like have all these random things happening all the time when they didn't have a lot of oversight. But no, it's massive. I've already talked to a couple people that are like considering hosting like collegiate LANs and also just amateur LANs, like having people come in and play like real LANs. And I think that's really where like esports thrives, especially League. Like online is cool, don't get me wrong. Like, but I think that in-person experiences like have always been like the thing that like really sticks for people. So I'm really happy that Riot finally decided to do that. And like honestly, as the biggest person who's been like overly critical of Riot for like years and years now, they did that. They hired a new person to run Tier 3 and CNV. They actually like so if you guys remember, they had RSAA and then they outsourced it to their TO, and now they just hired someone who I've talked to who's like 12 years of PM from esports over at Blizzard. Like he's a great guy. And it's for me with that, with Classic, with all the things, like I'm like actually optimistic about like League and like Riot and like NA esports with specifically for League for the first time in like legitimately like 8 years. And like that's really cool because I haven't felt that like I haven't felt that way about anything like related to League in like a really long time. Like for me, it's always been like, okay, cool, this might be my last year because like this might be the year it finally like falls. And like this is the first time where I'm like, oh, there might be like more opportunity for like my team and like coaching and stuff like that, which is cool.
Yeah.
It sucks I'm 30 when it happens, but you know.
Another thing, because the show is starting to wind down. Another tournament that I want to shout out while we are doing that, League Impact Series. If you aren't watching that or you haven't heard of that,
which I'm also
take
coaching.
A look at that.
Yeah,
yep, it's being organized by Blue Otter, so shout out to them. I think it's super cool that something like this is being put together. And yeah, I've been doing my best to try and keep up with games here and there. Obviously, like IRL work and LPL have got me pretty busy, so I'm not like super caught up with it. But just the fact that it's being run, I think, is like it reignites some faith from me personally as well. So love to see it. If you want to support it, I would highly recommend supporting it because I think it's a super cool thing that's happening.
This weekend they decide the last 4 teams that are going to be in the 8-team main stage. So my team will be one, of course, but
of course. Yeah, that's a great shout, Quax. And then so all this cool stuff's happening. It honestly put a smile on my face, calling for hearing that you're optimistic. And then
bro, everyone's like, you are so doomer pilled all the time. You're such a depressing bitch. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm like actually kind of hype about it. Like even if like I'm not,
it's hope core.
Yeah. I know, I'm literally like hope core, dude. And that's crazy because I'm like I'm on like a aggressive diet and I'm cutting out caffeine and I'm happy. So that like says a lot.
Let's go.
Proud of you for that, man. That's a battle.
That is awesome. Yes.
Yeah. No, like hearing you say that and I don't know. The other guy that I always talk to about stuff like this is Dakar or Tim, and even he was like, he's like,
Tim is the only person who's more nihilistic than me. That's crazy that he's like excited about anything.
Yeah, he was a little hesitant. I was mostly like telling him, "Yo, like you should try and get back into TOing because I think he's a fantastic TO.
He is.
He's the best. Yeah,
he's still a little on the fence about that. I'm sure maybe I'll be able to get my optimism through to him on that fact. But he even was like, with the change, he was like, "Wow." He was like mostly surprised. I think he was like, "Yeah, this is cool."
Yeah.
The big hope now with all this stuff going on we just mentioned, and then of course Riftbound's like a big thing. Collamer, I don't want to set you off too much on Riftbound. Yep, there we go. Let's just hope, fellas, that whatever league next is next year does not derail a bunch of this.
Back, basically,
like that'll be the big kickstart for sure.
It is cool that I think Riot is doing something. And this is more like big picture, not even like esports stuff, but I feel like a lot of places are realizing that like things used to be better and people aren't happy with like how things are now. Like Riot tried to innovate in so many different ways, and I think it takes a lot for anyone. Like I know Riot's like a business conglomerate, they're not a person, but I think it takes a lot to just be like, yeah, like let's just give people what they used to like what they wanted. And like, yeah, League Classic is like, I'm sure that won't be like a super like thing that lasts forever, but like I think it's really cool to see the trend of like Riot, but other places too, just being like, yeah, honestly, things used to be better. Like, we'll just go back to how it was when everyone was happier, right? Like, we'll do more open circuit tournaments. Like, I don't know what NACL is going to look like after this split. Like, I know Valorant is doing the open circuit thing, which people fucking love way more than like structured tier 2 leagues and stuff like that. Right. So, I don't know what things will look like, but it is, Counter-Strike format's sick, dude. I would love to play against Dignitas in a tournament.
It's the best, bro. I've said it for years on this podcast at this point, whenever I can bring it up. Counter-Strike's system is the best they have out there. So and let me just make sure my casters off to the side. Have either of you two gotten to check off the LAN off your casting duties yet? I don't think have either of you
I've never done an in-person LAN.
LAN is so sick, bro.
That's forever.
I'm with you guys. That's like the big besides the obvious goal that a caster has. That's the one that's on my sheet still, is get a LAN under the belt. And now with hey, we got to be optimistic as casters, man. We might get a shot at one of these CLOL lands that'll pop up, or
there's no chance.
There's no chance that I'm the only person. ISU one was my best shot, and ISU Esports is dead. But
there's no shot that I'm the only person between the three casters here that has been paid to be an on-air talent at a fucking LAN. That's crazy.
Yeah, no,
I have a lot of
lands, baby.
I have gone. I've talked to some people who are like older in the space about this. Like I've had discussions with like Bet Hawk about this and like Cubby about this, where I've been basically saying that I think the biggest wall that casters of like Slayer and I's generation, for example, like 2021 onwards, is the fact that there are like no in-person events that we're able to do. And that is like such an important thing to experience when you're trying to grow yourself as a person, as a caster. Any brand that you want to build, I think, can be significantly boosted by doing in-person events because you make a lot of connections from those. So yeah, I'm just hoping that in the future with this new set of stuff implemented by Riot, that it gives us an opportunity to actually do that, because that'd be huge for all three of us, honestly. And who knows? Maybe we'll see each other at LANs. That would be fun.
I will put you guys on the short list for the Ole Miss esports in-person LAN now that our facility's been built.
Oh, boy.
Also, the really funny thing about like,
Missouri.
yeah, true.
I could drive there. Yeah, fuck it. I'll
get out there. If maybe I won't say that.
You cannot drive there, bro.
Listen. If any lands offer me, I will not waive you pay for my travel fare. But if travel fare is the issue, I will commit to drive myself.
And I'll even do one better. I'll do the travel fare. And if you hire me, you can choose the suit that I wear on the cast.
There you go.
I will say, like, honestly, I've been coaching for 8 years, and the most memorable experience I ever had was when Riot hired me to do CLOL Nationals. Because the funny thing about that, too, was I had never been an on-air talent or anything, and I remember talking with Cubby at the time, and this was, like, right when all the casters were, like, him and Rafa and all them were, like, peak of, like, doing stuff, and, like, they were always busy. And I remember, like, talking to him, like, oh, well, like, what day rate should I ask for? And he, like, gave me a rate, which was, like, lower than the other casters, but, like, it made sense, right? Like, I had literally no casting experience. It was analyst S, but, like, same shit. And
Yeah, right.
I remember reaching out to the Riot person because I had done a stream because I specifically want to be like, I know CeeLo better than fucking Raz and all these guys that you're gonna hire. Which shout out Raz, I love him to death. But I was like, I'm so tired of fucking Raz and all these guys who like don't know CeeLo that well. Like let me fucking do this shit. I know this, right? And my team sucked this year, so like I'm available. And I asked for my day rate, and she's like, okay, well our pay rate for the position is double that, so I'm just gonna give you double. And like, I hope that everyone can ever get the opportunity to be like, ask for a day rate for doing something as a contractor and just get told you're getting paid double what you want. And also your hotel and your food and your Ubers in LA are free for a week. Cause I'm not going to lie, I was a baller that whole week.
Yeah. Take advantage. Yeah, that's dope.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I think I can speak for all three of us, Collamer, saying that none of us have ever had that experience.
I have
with
faith. I have
day
faith.
rate.
CeeLo's going back to LCS Arena, and it'll be in person, and they're going to hire people to do it again. I'm manifesting. And also,
Ryan, I'll be in LA next year, man. I ain't moving. I'm stuck here.
I will be stuck in Minnesota, but I will come out for this, please.
We'll figure it out.
I'll sleep on Slayer's couch or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
hopefully a little bit more stuff. Yeah, I mean, hopefully the first dry run of this stuff will be ACL fall, so we'll.
Yeah, that's
which
what
should
that's why I
barely
even
be different, to be honest. Maybe we'll get you Triumphant Rise. Maybe that'll be the big difference.
True, Triumphant Rise returns.
Yeah, but no, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Good changes. Seems to be they've already reached out to Aegis to start figuring stuff out for ACL and stuff to make sure NACL is going to be able to participate in the future. So barring anything unexpected, that should all be good. So yeah, I think that'll be really good looking into 2027 and beyond.
God, fellas, what a optimistic episode. Huh?
I know.
We had some Dardoch, Denethor in Tier 1. We have tournament changes opening up. God, let's hope we look back at this with a smile and not.
It makes up from the last episode I watched for you guys where someone said that we were getting 9th and going to promotion relegation.
That wasn't me. Wait, maybe what? No.
It was not you.
I think it was
Quax.
Consensus.
Oh yeah, it was Quax. It was Quax.
Wait, what did I say?
You said they were going promo.
You said Ole Miss is going 9th and we're going promotion relegation, bro.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
I had you guys 7th. I do 7th, so I do.
It's okay. I mean, to be fair, who knows? But I can't join the podcast and not give a little bit of shit.
Yeah. No, you got me on that one. You got me on that one.
90 minutes. That's a good episode. I'm gonna get some rest before LPL. Thank you for hopping on, Colin.
Same.
Happy to have you as always. And yeah, good luck next week. And keep tuned into the NACL, everybody.
Yeah. We'll probably be back for a playoff talk. So see you guys then.
We'll be back sooner rather than later, for sure.
Yep.